Good evening, everyone. Owen Fritzen here. About 5:52 at the moment. We have some stuff to look at with you here. Right now, I'll show you current radar, and we'll turn on the warnings as well. We're live mainly because of the severe thunderstorm warning that's coming into Indiana, or coming out of Indiana into Ohio, heading towards the Cincinnati metro. Also, I'll talk about, if you're watching live from the Mid-Ohio Valley, I'll kind of talk about what's going on over there as well. Most of you there in West Virginia have a new severe thunderstorm watch that was issued, and or tornado watch. I have to look at that real quick. And we'll talk about that as well here in just a few minutes. Actually, severe thunderstorm watch, I was right. I had to double check because it was canceled and reissued, and we had some things there this afternoon going on. So we're going to talk about all of that real quick, and but let's first get to the reason that we're live, and then we'll kind of jump over the Mid-Ohio Valley and kind of talk about the rest of the afternoon here. So first things first, going to jump into down here in southern Ohio. Let's go ahead and go to southwestern Ohio, south of I-70. So if you're anywhere in the pinkish area here, purplish, you do obviously have a thunderstorm watch that goes until, severe thunderstorm watch that goes until midnight tonight. Wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. Now, with that being said, that's why we are live, because these storms getting ready to cross into Indiana. They're currently sitting over here by Union County and Franklin County, getting ready to cross over here to Preble County, portions of Preble County, Butler County, and coming into Hamilton County. This is in Ohio, this is the reason we came on live, because these storms have a little bit of a punch to them with up to 70 mile an hour wind gusts that are possible with this. So you can see max wind threat, they're saying it's actually observed. So wind gusts are a considerable amount of damage that's possible. I know there's a lot of things getting ready to happen this evening throughout Cincinnati and the metro area, or things that are currently going on. So it'd be a good idea if you got people down there to give them a heads up. Portions of the Cincinnati metro are not under a severe thunderstorm warning as of this point, but this one is held together pretty strong as it's moved from before Indianapolis all the way down here towards Cincinnati. So again, if you're in this area, both of these are in our coverage area. We have a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings. We kind of got three that are in conjunction of each other, but needless to say, you can kind of say, for all intents and purposes, we'll click on the most outer one here that goes the longest. This goes until 6:30. Storm motion, they got it moving at about 43 miles an hour and max wind gusts of 70 miles an hour, and they tag this considerable damage that is possible. So that's the reason that we're live, and also seeing some hail spike up to a severe size, about 0.88, not quite up to that 1 inch, but also looking likely there possibly as it steamrolls ahead here. There's a few showers out ahead of this in the Cincinnati metro area that you might be seeing and getting in on, but the big wave is coming. So if you got people down in Cincinnati, it'd be a good idea to let them know, hey, yeah, you got some storms coming and some pretty strong winds. Let's take a look at those winds real quick. Let's go ahead and flip into the velocity product, kind of looking at some of these wind punch, if you will. And I know it really is hard sometimes because we're kind of caught between two radar sites. I'm looking out of Wilmington right now, but let's go ahead and right now we're kind of teeter-tottering. This may not be to ground level. I'm kind of rolling over some of these winds, but there's some embedded winds there. There's some 50s. It just kind of depends. There's some embedded winds there, and if we flip over from Indianapolis, let's kind of look at it from this way too. Yeah, a little bit better shot. You can see some well over 50 on the outgoing side. Go to kind of right between it. So what I mean by that is, since we're between two radar sites, it's very hard for us to get a great ground true reading. This is aloft, winds aloft, so we could be looking here quite high. And over here, I believe, we look at another tool. Let me look at it here from ILN. 1 second here. I'll pop it up. Looking at it quite high. Yeah, we're about 5,000 feet in the air looking at this. So when I probe those, we're about 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere, because that's as low as the radar beam can see. That's the problem with having radar dead zones, but we just don't have enough radars in the United States. So 50 mile an hour at about 5,000 feet, that's pretty strong, and down on the surface definitely warrants, and probably starting to see close to 70. They did have some 70 ones there, 70 mile an hour winds as well. So what we got going on here, kind of moving forward, that one of these things that we have seen today is some of these cells continue to kind of regenerate themselves in some areas, hit some of these pockets of instability. And depending on where you're at in Ohio, we've seen a lot of mugginess and a lot of dew points that have skyrocketed today. So we do have a lot of moisture, and it's dumping also a lot of rain in a quick amount of time. We also contending with a couple other things. We do have the chance for some isolated tornadoes today, so we're keeping an eye on any one of these type of inflow notch areas. We're looking at that as well for the potential of some rotation. Not seeing anything just yet, quite yet, I should say, but we are keeping a pretty good eye on that. And as the latest scan comes in, and these are getting a little bit brighter, so it is picking up here in potential of winds as it's steaming towards the Ohio border. So if you're out ahead of this, again, make sure that you are getting inside and away from windows. That's the biggest thing with this, as we have, again, observed up to 70 mile an hour winds. So looking here, the severe thunderstorm warning, kind of the outermost one I'll read quickly, is for Franklin County, northern Ripley County, Union County, Dearborn County, southern Fayette County, all those in Indiana, and northwestern Hamilton County, southwestern Preble County, and western Butler County. This big outer warning goes until 6:30. And again, they're saying that 70 mile an hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail is possible. They're saying that they do have a report of a 70 mile an hour wind gust, and this includes I-74 between mile markers 145 and 171, and in Ohio from mile marker 0 to mile marker number 9. So this is moving forward. Again, they got some reports there, 70 mile an hour gusts at the surface, so they did tag this what we call considerable damage. That's why it was wrote that way as we came on. So let's go ahead, and you can see they trimmed that back there, and now we got one warning instead of multiple warnings as it's rolling into different coverage areas. So let's take a back look here at kind of an overall look, and let's go ahead and dive on over towards the Mid-Ohio Valley, since you all are watching as well. And I probably should have hit Charleston radar. Let me go ahead and hit Charleston. What we're seeing here is we have some embedded thunderstorms that have come out here in the Mid-Ohio Valley. You got kind of this line here, non-severe right now, that's kind of flowing right along as it comes right along the Ohio border. But a couple of these cells down here, these singular type cells, have the potential of getting a little bit cranky. They did go ahead and issue, like I said, for you all as well, they issued a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock due to some of these embedded cells in these storms. What could happen as this moves off towards the east, we could see the potential of them getting a little bit stronger. So we are looking at that as well. And also we're seeing maybe an uptick of storms that are possible here in the next couple of hours, the greatest potential for them, depending on where you live in Ohio at all. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Nick, can you talk about why the current thunderstorm watch in eastern Ohio was downgraded from a tornado watch? They blew it. I don't know how else to say it. They totally blew it. They blew that watch, and then they went ahead and reissued it. The parameters there, I'm not 100% sure. They left it go in there a little bit, but it just it was a weird watch to begin with, and they kind of blew that one. They issue watches when they don't need to, and then they don't issue watches when they need to. I really wish I had a better answer. The settings and the parameters were there for a severe thunderstorm watch potential, but the tornado one I thought wasn't there. But I'm not them. I'm not the Storm Prediction Center of the National Weather Service. So right now, the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center, they work together in conjunction and things, but there's some problems there. I'm even having problems getting feeds from the National Weather Service because their infrastructure's got problems. But that's a whole other story. We can get into that a whole other day. All right, let's go ahead and flip off. I'm going to turn on some model data because that's what a lot of you are interested in as well. So I'm going to flip this off, and let me turn off all the watches and warnings real quick, and let's go ahead and bring up some model data so you can kind of see what's going on and what's potential here as we head into this evening into the overnight hours. And load this in quick. Give me 1 second, loading it up. All right, so model data-wise, look at the model. We're looking at the time right here, 6 o'clock. This is projected. We're looking at the HRRR model. So looking out, let's go ahead and kind of speed this up to 7 o'clock. We're at 6 o'clock right now. They're saying 7 o'clock. Had a pretty good handle on this since it was last ran. But as we kind of go into the 8 o'clock hour, this is where the uptick for Northwest Ohio happens that we're looking at. And we could see some embedded storms here in Northwest Ohio, but that Cincinnati storm is held pretty strong, and a little bit more towards our southern counties is what it looks like it's going to be for the afternoon. And then there's an uptick again for potentially portions of the Mid-Ohio Valley. Now, I also will tailor this with the convective outlook today. Here is the Storm Prediction Center outlook. They trimmed this back considerably earlier for the slight risk area, and then they went ahead and reissued it here for all the way portions back to Indianapolis. So they've had their fair challenges today on this. But again, we're looking at 1 in the morning. So the moral of the story throughout this, with this data that you're seeing here for the model data, and I'll back it up, is these pop-up type cells, and I'm not even sure the model has a good handle on it. I think anywhere in the coverage area you do have a potential of some pop-up cells that are isolated in nature, and they could get a little bit cranky. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Not an over threat, if you will, not a considerable outbreak, except for that portion in Cincinnati. We've been watching that one. That one has the potential for some pretty strong winds. But the other ones, I think it's going to be more garden variety. You could see a storm or two get cranky and get up to that severe limit. And you can't totally rule out tornadoes today as well. As far as watches and warnings go, I don't know. They talk about maybe there was no warning and watch, but that's not necessarily the case, because even across some portions here in northern Ohio where I'm at, they haven't issued them either, and they always issue them late. So the social science side of things, they're not 100% strong on, and they got to meet certain criteria, certain warnings, certain this, certain that. I think they overcomplicate it for the general public, in my humble opinion, and I wish they would fix that, but it seems like we always get a warning, or a warning after the fact. Where I'm from, here near the Toledo area, Fremont area, we get a warning after, or watch after the warning's been issued, or right before. So it's kind of a pointless thing. But that's just my humble opinion. So I don't want to discredit the work that they do, but I just wish that they would be a little bit better on some of the social science things about what people understand. If you're a weather guru, you could probably get it and understand it, but they need to tailor their products a little bit more for the average person, in my humble opinion. So that's just my thoughts. But let's take a look here. Go zoom down back in, and we'll turn on the warnings again and see what we got going on here. For the watch as well. I'll turn those back on. But this line still holding strong here for coming into Cincinnati. There were certain criteria, by the way, Michael, that was changed 4 to 5 years ago. They literally did some social science studies, by the way. Now, I was just looking at this because this fascinates me. on the whole social science perspective, is they talked about issuing different levels of warnings. Now they went with these considerable damage tags and things, trying to get people's attention. And then they also went with, tornado possible in a severe thunderstorm warning, which also doesn't make sense, in my humble opinion, for people. So that's just kind of one of those things. But they did a study on it, and then I heard they talked about level purple warnings and things. I don't know, it was crazy, some of the stuff I read, but didn't seem to really get them. I don't know. They haven't asked their end user, in my humble opinion. Everybody they asked seemed to be weather nerds, kind of like us, and probably some of you out there. But they didn't ask the average person. But then again, the average person don't know where they're at on a map either. So, but still, the wave with technology, we got to figure out a way to get that right. Do I think the tornado watch will be dropped? I do. As soon as the line comes through, yes. They have trimmed this one back from Indiana. As soon as this cluster gets through, as we get through, I think this one will be dropped. There's nothing for northern Ohio, although there are some storms possible that could pop up. I don't see a watch being issued for that. I also will venture to say that this watch over here, the tornado watch, it goes until 8 o'clock. This one will be, they'll probably let that one go to 8 o'clock, but they, as this line starts to roll through here, over here, that one also start to drop off. But they're going to keep this one going down here for the Mid-Ohio Valley until this back line moves through, because there was too much risk on that when there was some severe thunderstorms there in just a little bit. So is this line in Cincinnati coming towards Columbus? No. This severe line is moving south. I'll put that into motion for you here. Let me drop this in and load it up for you. It's taking more of an easterly turn. Depending on where you're in Columbus, you're going to get some rain out of this, but I don't foresee it taking too much of a northerly turn. It looks like it's going to drape to your south. There's Pike County thunderstorm warning goes until midnight. There's a watch, so there's no warning. There's a watch that goes to 12 a.m. So, yes, there is a severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 12 a.m. But again, as this line starts to roll through, I think you're pretty much going to be good to go. For those of you in Columbus, it looks like more rain out of anything. And like I said, the general consensus of today really was, as we move forward, especially in the evening hours now, we've had so much rain, and we had like a wave of stuff come through earlier, and it sucked out all of the energy basically, except for portions here in southern Ohio that we're seeing some pockets of instability and some mugginess that happened, that we're seeing some of these storms fire back up. Parkersburg, that's a tough one. Not under watch, but that's definitely a tough one. Some of those storms again. And this is kind of, in general, Parkersburg, you're going to see some rain, but in general, for anywhere in Ohio today, with all three of these watches that are going on, at this point, what you're going to see is basically kind of your garden variety thunderstorms. Most of them are going to be not severe, with a few of them approaching severe limits, and you might get an isolated severe thunderstorm warning or two. And with that, you could see a possible tornado warning. You can't totally rule that out today at all. Correct, Dakota. We had a lot of limited instability, and we had that first round come through. It sucked everything out. So Belpre, kind of the same thing. Belpre, you can get in on maybe some of this stuff coming through, but lightning counts have been down today too. So mainly, I do want to just focus in here real quick again on Cincinnati. So if you're in portions of the Cincinnati area and the metro area, just be on the lookout, because we do have this severe thunderstorm warning again. I'll click on it here for you. It goes until 6:30, and let's go ahead and stop this and move it. They backed the winds down just a little bit, and the latest update said 60 miles an hour. But there's a lot of events going on today, I know, in the Cincinnati area. So it's important that, hey, if you got people down there, give them a heads up that you potentially could see some strong winds. They backed that off and removed the considerable tag on the latest update. Yeah, Tyler County, kind of the same thing I was talking about. Monroe County, yeah. I don't know about a severe thunderstorm. I can't 100% say that. Wayne County, Ohio. Good old Wayne County Speedway. Wayne County is very unlikely. I think you might see a chance of some rain, but as far as storms, I think you're pretty much done. Cambridge, in that area, kind of the same general consensus the rest of the day. Some of those storms could get a little cranky. Same thing with Morgan County, too. Cambridge, yeah, you're kind of riding along that Columbus front. You're kind of seeing some stuff now, but you might see some scattered showers there a little bit. Same thing. Rotation-wise on Cincinnati, I've seen a few comments on that. Let me go ahead and zoom in on for you and show you. No, not at the last scan. I'm looking at that on a separate screen. This is what we're seeing, and we're out of Wilmington. Not seeing any rotation with this one at this point. So no, which is a good thing. I'm keeping an eye on that another screen. Seeing a little bit of small hail, though, still with that. So we could see a little bit of hail. But nothing in terms of rotation that we're seeing inside of this one coming towards Cincinnati or the one in Cincinnati, no. So kind of the same exact thing that we got going on there. So let me back this out here just a little bit, and I'm going to flip over to the National Composite model here and kind of show you what we got going on there. And this is kind of the current look of the state of our coverage area. And general thing here today, I'll kind of do a quick recap and then we're going to wrap this up. But general recap here for the rest of today, we do have these 3 different watch boxes. We have a tornado watch that goes until 8 o'clock for the portions of this darker, I don't even know what to call it, yellowish color, greenish, pukish green. I have to change that. Until 8 o'clock tonight. And again, they're going to start to drop this as soon as these storms fire through this line, I should say. I shouldn't even say storms. The one down here in the Middle Ohio Valley in West Virginia, this one goes until 10 o'clock tonight. Again, as this front pushes through, I think they'll start dropping counties out of it, especially as we move from west to east. Same thing goes here for the Cincinnati area and this other severe thunderstorm watch down here in southwestern Ohio that goes until midnight tonight. You'll start to see that drop off as well. So, general consensus, with the exception of this one, we're keeping an eye on it. This has the strongest potential anywhere that we're seeing here, the strongest potential today. So if you're out ahead of that one, have a way to receive warnings, and that's for everybody. Have a way to receive warnings as we head into this evening. Make sure that any one of these storms could become a little bit cranky and approach severe limits. Otherwise, I would say not too much to worry about. Again, isolated kind of a threat, and that threat keeps diminishing here as we continue to move forward throughout the evening. We're going to start to lose that daytime heating. Temperatures have already kind of fell, so we're going to start to lose more and more of it this afternoon. But I can't say that we're going to be completely out of it. I wouldn't say 1 or 2, but a few storms, few cells maybe become severe. And again, we can't totally eliminate the threat of a tornado. But biggest thing is download the app. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings. Our app is one of the ways to do that. And just you and the moderator. In YouTube, probably. Our YouTube audience isn't very big. So, but our other platforms are pretty big. So, make sure you download our app in the App Store, Google Play Store, Ohio News and Weather. Search for that. And make sure you search again for Ohio News and Weather. We're part of the Bell Park Weather Network. We continue to bring you live severe coverage as we'll need to throughout the evening hours. We got a lot of our team back behind the scenes on standby, ready to go, and to keep looking at it. Again, the app is Ohio News and Weather. And let's see. Here, let me see if I can bring that up for you. There you go. There's Ohio News and Weather in the Google Play Store or the App Store. Download that and track that along with you. It's free of charge for you. Made some updates on it. We got a nice dark mode in it now, so it's kind of nice. And you can track the weather right along with us. And it's very good on lightning alerts and rain alerts too. So you can customize all of those, put the little gear icon you see there on the top right of the screen. So download that and search for Ohio News and Weather, again, in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. With that being said, I want to say thanks for joining and continue to be with us. And as we continue to see things that are critical, we'll come back live as we need to. But throughout the evening hours, just have a way to receive warnings. Not an overhype whatsoever. Do keep an eye on that one down if you're in the Cincinnati metro areas as it approaches there. That one's a little bit on the stronger side. So keep an eye out if you're in that area. But otherwise, enjoy your evening. We'll continue to come back live as needed.